think it kind of got messed up because they pushed Bam off his spot, and so I was still trying to curl and cut to the ball, and then I think it was like 3-point-something seconds on the clock, and we just I'm continuing trying to go to the ball, and I kind of ran into Bam's space. I think he thought like plays broken, and he was trying to go, and so yeah, it was just a little messed up in the last play, and I feel like it's on me. I hate messing up in the games. I should have spaced out and gave him some room to work.
Obviously, you don't want it to come in a loss, but how valuable are these moments, these experiences when you go through a late game situation and you can kind of talk it over and look back on it?
I think it's good, to go through it. It's great when you win, and, it's tough when you don't come out on top in those moments. But it's all learning experiences. And, you want to come out and make the right reads, right play, especially down the stretch. But young team, trying to figure it out. I think it's good for us. I think it's better to have them early in the season than rather later when we start fighting for more playoff positions and we get into the playoffs and things like that. So I think it's good to learn and see how we can improve and get better and make better late game reads and adjustments.
It looks like you took a misstep on that left ankle again, and
Yeah.
even you were wondering.
Right ankle.
Okay,
Yeah.
right ankle. It looked like, not again. Sort of.
Yeah.
How did you get through that, and is that now?
I'm bow-legged. My legs and my ankles and stuff down there are naturally like curved in because of the way I'm set up. So I've sprained my ankle a lot of times. So I'm really able to just push through it. I'm good at adjusting and figuring out, and just I have a high pain tolerance, so I can play through it. But I should be fine. It's no big deal.
Cool, thank you. Bam, of the last play, it seemed like you were normal, so we're talking about it. He just said one guy zigged, one guy zagged, and that was that. So obviously you didn't have the timeout after they fouled. Can you take us through the last set, please?
Usually the last set is like in that situation, Norm hasn't been here long enough. That's usually my ISO play to go get a bucket, but throughout the game it's ran for like back hammer, and then he comes running off. So just miscommunication on the last play.
So just to clarify, you were supposed to have an ISO at the
Go.
top. Okay.
Yeah.
Just you moving into third place, all-time scoring list. What's the significance of that to you?
Who'd I pass?
That's Glenn Rice.
Behind Zoe and Dwayne.
Man, can't really put that into words, man. I would have liked to have done it on a dub, but having the opportunity to, pass some of these greats, obviously being able to pass them and bring them back into the present day, I'm pretty sure at some point when I see Glenn, he's gonna give me a big hug. That's my guy, but it's a great thing. Like I said, man, I came into this league as a defender, and to be third in franchise history in points is it's an incredible feeling for sure.
At this pace, you can catch Dwayne in 16 seasons. So
16 more seasons?
16 more seasons, yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Hey, Coach was talking to us about how he went different at the end because he'd like to see more from the big lineup, especially defensively, and he's not. As a team captain, how do you get that to work better and work better with you and Khalil both starting?
You take it personal. It's one of those things where when you hear situations like that, how your coaches feel, you take it personal and you make it work. So he has no complaints about it, or he doesn't switch it up to where we're the only big out there. So obviously we'll get on this plane. It's 45 minutes. That's enough time for me and Kel to get in some film and to see how we can fix his mindset on that.
You're making your threes, but this is probably the third time in the last week and a half or so where an opponent's kept your team attempts way down. How do you get that back in today's three-point NBA to a higher number so you give yourself a better chance, not have to go 2 for 3s?
I feel like we pass up a lot of open ones. It's one of those things where we're trying to make the right play every time, and sometimes we overthink it, or you're not in the rhythm, so you don't want to shoot the ball. And we had compound plays where it's like 3 after 3 after 3. So I get it, but you know, the biggest thing is for us to get shots on goal and not overthink the game.
Just start at the finish. The last play, obviously, they intentionally fouled. You didn't have another timeout. Did you have a plan B then, or was there sort of a preset call in that situation?
Yeah, it was just a play call that we had. If you have a little bit more time, you can run, some other triggers to it. But once Bam got to half court, I think that determined that the other actions would not be available in 3 seconds. That stuff happens. I mean, Norm was zigging while Bam was zagging. We'll get that all sorted out. It was a tough loss. The defense in the second half was very good. They got us, or maybe both teams got each other into a slugfest. It seemed more like Heat Magic of last year or the year before. The start of the third quarter, that put us in a hole, and the rest of the half we just had to grind out of it, which we did to make it a possession game. But it was deflating to start that quarter with the turnovers and missed catches, miscues with the passes. But it was a heck of a game. You got two really competitive teams, and they came away with the win.
The decision to put Khalil back in the lineup, and then obviously not playing late tonight.
Yeah, the group that was getting us back in the game, that made the most sense to us. That starting group is a little bit uneven. Tonight we gotta continue to work on that. I just want to see that group, whatever. When we play bigger, just for it to be a plus, So we have some work to do there. It should be a very good defensive group, but that's a group that hasn't been able to defend so far, and we got to continue to work at that.
We've asked this a bunch of times. Obviously, with Tyler out, it's a little different, but the lack of three-point volume.
That's okay. That's okay.
Numbers were okay, you thought?
Yeah, they're number one in the league at taking that away. This was a game that was going to be decided on the final possession. It's not going to go by the analytics. It's not going to go by whatever your stats are. It's not going to be played in the 140s. You're not going to get your 30 transition. You're not going to get all that stuff. Both teams really competed, and what it comes down to is, you figure out a way to win it at the end, and the Magic did that tonight.
The result we want with Bam moving up to third place in all-time scoring list from a milestone right for him, passing Glenn Rice. Just what's the significance?
Did he really?
Yeah.
So it goes.
Only Wayne and Zoe ahead of him.
Wow,
The significance of that.
that's incredible. That's really incredible. What an achievement. I had no idea. That's awesome. I would have mentioned something to him, even though it was kind of a buzzkill there at the end. But that's just a testament to his consistency. His work ethic came in basically as a defensive player, and he's really honed his skills offensively to become so much more versatile. On a tough night and a tough loss, that's one heck of an accomplishment, and he's going to keep going.
Norm seemed to twist that ankle or tweak it at one point in the third quarter. Was that limiting at all? Was that a concern at all?
I don't think so. He said he felt fine. We'll see how he feels tomorrow.
Between the two games, it was less than 5 points total. What were some of the things in the margins that you could use to get that win next time out?
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if it would have made a difference, but it was deflating at the beginning of the third. We had a lead going into halftime, and then all of a sudden, before we know it, it's 8-9 point lead for them, and we had to dig over and over and over and over. We never took the lead. We made it a possession game there at the end, but when you go into halftime with a lead, you want to continue to have that lead and hopefully build on that. We weren't able to do that.